the effects that they have on the body, influence that the media has on them, and treatment. So some background information. According to the National Eating Disorder.org, it's believed to have, eating disorders are believed to be first diagnosed in the 1950s, and bulimia nervosa was not usually understood until the 1980s, and I'll talk about it later. Eating disorders usually start with emotional reasons of low self-esteem, and they usually appear when you're younger, and they usually coexist with depression, substance abuse, or anxiety disorders. According to the National Eating Disorder Association, about 5 to 10 million girls and women and about 1 million boys in the United States are battling an eating disorder today. Over a person's lifetime, at least 50,000 individuals will die as a direct result of their eating disorder. So as you can see, they're very dangerous and should be treated. About 1% of female adolescents have anorexia, and about 4% of college-age women have bulimia. And there's a picture, as you can see, of a young girl having it and measuring how big she is. Okay, so for certain types, I got all this information from the National Institute of Mental Health, and they state that the 3 types are anorexia nervosa, bulimia, and binge eating disorders. So I'll talk about anorexia first. Anorexia is a self-starvation. It's a condition in which a person fears of being fat and they won't eat anything. They'll starve themselves, and they ignore whenever they're hungry. The more weight you lose, the more distorted your body image becomes, and this is because of lack of nutrients in your body. And as you can see in this picture, she's obviously very skinny, but in the image that she sees of herself, she's really big. Bulimia. Bulimia is when you eat large amounts of food in short periods of time, and then you get rid of it by either over-exercising or you just vomit it out. And about 50% of people who have this have had anorexia before. And this picture of a girl growing up. Okay, binge eating. Binge eating is the most common eating disorder. Many obese people have this. It's when you eat a lot of food really quickly, even though you're not hungry at all. It affects about 3% of all adults in the United States. And some signs of it are if you eat until you're really full, you feel depressed, disgusted, or guilty after you eat. You eat alone because you're ashamed of how much you eat, and like I said, you eat a lot of food even though you're not hungry at all. And I got this all from the weight control information network. How eating disorders affect the body. They affect the body both mentally and physically. Some physical problems are kidney failure, osteoporosis, malnutrition, diabetes, and even death. And according to the National Institute of Health, 10% of eating disorder sufferers die because of it. And I got this from the Penn State University of Christian Medical Center. Some mental problems are depression and a really low self-esteem. And people usually think of eating disorders with females, but a lot of males have it too. Men and boys account for an estimated 5 to 15% of patients with anorexia or bulimia, and we have an estimated of 35% of those with binge eating disorders. 1 in 4 cases of anorexia are in boys. Males have a problem because they usually get muscle dysmorphia, which is when they go to the gym a lot and they want to be really muscular. They're at greater risk of abusing steroids, and according to a study in 1998, 40% of people suffering from binge eating disorders are usually male. Right. So the media has a really big effect on people, especially little girls and boys. The average woman model weighs up to about 25% less than the typical woman, and she maintains a weight of about 15 to 20% below what is considered healthy for her. So as you can see, this is a really famous picture. That's not a normal body image. She's very, very skinny, and young girls see this and they think that they're fat, so they get eating disorders because of this. Treatment. Treatment may cost up to about $30,000 a month, so it's really expensive. But some patients require for treatment for like over 2 years because a lot of them like relapse and go back to their eating disorder. There's plenty of treatment centers that help people out with eating disorders. So, summary, I've talked about the background and types of eating disorders. I've stated the dangerous effects that they have on the body and the influence that the media has on young kids and people. And I talked about different treatments. Hopefully with this information, if you guys have like a friend or family member, just look out for the signs, and if they have an eating disorder, like help them treat it fast, because the faster you treat it, like the quicker you'll get rid of it and it won't get as bad. Any questions?